If you were born with your South Node in Aries and North Node in Libra, you have a soul of a quintessential warrior, independent, brave, and highly capable, really good at problem solving and dealing with struggles in life. However, your North Node is calling you to develop the peace, the beauty, the creativity, the relationship capability of Libra. In this video, I will break down your gifts, your talents, and your karmic purpose. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you like my work, please support me by leaving a like or a comment, subscribing, and pressing that notification bell. All of that draws views to my channel, helps me grow. I appreciate that. You also have the option of saying thank you and buying me a coffee. Additionally, for all of your questions, if you want to know what the year ahead has in store for you, if you have your birthday coming up and you'd like to know what's happening right now or what's ahead, you can always book a reading with me at anastasiadoesastrology.com. On my website, you can also check out the shop section for all of my creations, such as candles, oils, planners, and more. So definitely give that a look. Before we talk about the North and South Node specifically, let's talk about it in a more general sense, right? What is North Node? What is South Node? North and South Node are not existing physical things. They are points of intersection between the solar and the lunar orbit. And whenever we get a new or full moon right at those intersection points, we get eclipses. So eclipses have always been they've always carried this major emphasis and influence in astrology. So North and South Node, because they connect to eclipses, they also carry that huge weight in astrology. And so there's a couple of ways of looking at the North and South Node. I like to cover them both to give you perspective, but in general, I think I really like looking at the North and South Node as the rise and the fall of karma. They're very karmic. They connect to your past lives. They represent lessons you're learning. They represent energies you're carrying over from other lifetimes, and they're here to tell you how to find a better balance. So modern astrologers oftentimes tend to put the South Node down, and they tend to lift up the North Node, and a lot of times you might hear that South Node is something you're letting go, it's you're mastering and releasing it, versus North Node is these like blessings and your complete focus in life, right? Which is not entirely true, because, or at least that's not what traditional astrologers used to believe, right? The traditional astrologers saw South Node as the release. It's the energy of spiritual focus, right? Like South Node, even if you look at those two intersections, right, between the solar orbit and the lunar orbit, the North Node represents the point of intersection as the moon is climbing up, versus the South Node is the moon going down. So North Node, according to that energy of climbing up, has the pull towards material gains. North Node is curious, it's hungry, it's the rise of fortune, right? It's the rise, or like the strong pull. It has very material focus. It has very hungry energy. Lance Armstrong, the famous cyclist, has his Mars conjunct North Node, and so Mars, being the competitive warrior within him, conjunct the North Node, made that warrior that much hungrier. So he was willing to break rules and to go really far to win. So North Node is not just good, right? Because it can take you in the wrong direction. So looking at it as like South Node bad, North Node good is not conducive to I think a balanced understanding. And I'm a Libra rising, so I'm all about balance. And South Node, because it's spiritual and it has to do with release, is also not all good, because if you're fully releasing responsibility, you can hurt people around you, right? You can step away too much, you can sort of escape. It's good to escape in meditation, I guess, but you can escape into drugs because you're so not focused or so not connected to the material realm, to your physical body. So that's where their relationship, I think, is easiest to understand, because it's not one good, one bad. It's about how do we balance that spiritual energy with the material energy. So let's talk about Libra North Node and Aries South Node. They're always opposite. So if your Libra North Node is at 2 degrees, your Aries South Node will be at 2 degrees as well. And before we dive in, I want to give you the dates. So if you're curious whether that applies to you, you can check out the dates. You can also check your chart and check it's going to be mean node or true node to see what sign your North Node is in. But North Node was in Libra from June 1958, mid-June 1958 until mid-December 1959. From January 1977 until early July 1978. From August 1995 till January 25th, 1997. And just recently from February 19th, 2014 until November 11th, 2015. So you can see whether that applies to you. Some of the famous people born with this placement are John Lennon, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Kendall Jenner, Tina Turner, and Simon Cowell. And I like starting talking about North Node by first addressing the South Node, because South Node oftentimes represents your early life. We believe that North Node matures at 42, South Node takes care of the earlier part of life, meaning that you are more comfortable with your South Node and you may slide into the comfortable patterns early in life. So, and then after like 42, and this is different for every single person, really, depends on your maturity level, on your lessons, on other placements in your chart, how quickly you might come to find that good balance. But generally early in life, we deal with South Node, or you can also think of South Node as like past karma that is carried over. And the North Node has to do with what's new coming into your life and how you're balancing South Node with the North Node. So having South Node in Aries suggests that you have soul awareness, whether that comes from early in life or whether that comes from past lives, of how to be alone. You may have been a soldier fighting for your country in past lifetimes. You may have been someone who faced a lot of challenges, and once again, either past lifetimes or early in this lifetime. I think a lot of times when you have South Node in Aries, people experience difficulty early in life that separates them from others somehow. And please let me know how all of this is resonating down below. But you come in as a warrior, right? Whether that means you're a physical fighter, maybe you're fighting on, what is that, MMA fighting or wrestling, whatever it might be. Pamela Reif, who's an influencer on YouTube and Instagram, has this, and she actually has Mars and Venus both in Gemini, so her South and North Node are ruled by 2 planets in the same sign. So I think she's really good at uniting the fighting spirit, because she's a fitness influencer, so she teaches people how to work out, and also the beauty of Venus and her North Node. But you might be a physical fighter, you may be an intellectual fighter, you may be standing up for the weak, or just sort of have this combative energy. The negative here a lot of times is almost like propensity to seek out stress, right? Even if you are in a happy relationship, you may just have that sort of natural tendency to expect things to fall apart, or because you are in a constant, you may be in a constant fight or flight mode. And maybe that's what happened, what happened to you when you were a kid. You had to face difficulty, so you've learned how to handle things, so you can be also really brave and really independent and really good at problem solving. Of course, Aries energy is not always good at staying, so you may start projects but not always finish them. And your leadership energy is highly, highly strong. So people might kind of naturally follow you or be driven to your passionate energy, right? But like I said, the problem is not knowing how or when to turn it off, or like having fears of trusting other people, right? So you naturally might sort of lean into being on your own and being more comfortable kind of dealing with your own with problems on your own. So the goal with North Node in Libra is on some level just learning to chill, right? It's about learning to, whenever you have North Node in a Venusian sign, so Taurus or Libra, it's about learning to enjoy life. It's about finding peace and beauty. And, you know, Libra can be indecisive, but Libra also weighs things. It's not rushing into making a decision. It's also knowing that behind every decision, there's consequences. And it has like very strong understanding of beauty or partnership, and like learning to have partnerships that are fair versus you carrying the weight, or running away from kind of trusting and learning to trust. So the way you can literally start by giving more attention to the feminine side of you, or to the Venusian side of you, which means harmonizing colors around you, maybe like, you know, bringing more flowers into your life. So like starting by modifying your surroundings, taking care of your hair maybe, right? And then of course developing relationships, developing your creative skills, right? And like learning to just pause before you react, because early in life you could have been in like a highly stressful environment, right, where you didn't have time to pause, you didn't have time to weigh things or focus on beauty, you had to focus on survival. But as you keep living and life becomes calmer and life becomes steadier and you have more control over your own life versus depending on the parents, right, or depending on caretakers, you have more ability to rest, right? And like I said, to focus on relationships. So relationships here are highly, highly important because Libra is a sign of relationships. So you may feel a lot of hunger for a relationship, but it might be something that will take you a minute to understand because of that, you know, either a tendency to sabotage relationships or create drama, or a tendency to avoid vulnerability because you don't want to put yourself in that position. Creativity, I mentioned, you know, working on exploring your artistic side, whether that means by taking painting classes or dancing, or maybe, once again, you know, I mentioned Pamela Reif, and she has both workouts that are like heavy cardio and workouts that are dance workouts. So it's like you don't have to kill off the warrior within you, but you will benefit highly from adding that joyful, peaceful element, right? So learning to create balance and harmony in various aspects of your life, right? Be that in fitness, be that in your environment, in your relationships, mastering relationships, kind of both, you know, romantic, but also friendships where once again you're getting to share fairly, where you're getting to kind of express how you feel, where things are fair and just and balanced, when you're kind of finding an ability to resolve conflicts through not attacking or running away or being really feisty, like you're sort of like, it's a lot of it is, you know, Libra is very kind of graceful and steady and charming, so you are learning to like figure things out and once again navigate conflicts and navigate difficult dynamics with peace and patience and that diplomacy and negotiation. And it might take a minute to get there, it might take a minute to learn how to compromise, but eventually you will, and eventually you will appreciate partnerships, you will learn to share some of the weight with other people, and you know, give them something to carry too. You don't have to be the only one who takes care of everything. And like I said, you know, some of your gifts are courage, bravery, quick reflexes. Maybe you're very kind of physically apt or competitive or good at taking leadership, but what you struggle with is like the stress or fears or being in the fight or flight mode, or, you know, struggling to kind of let go of control on some level. So as you build, even like, you know, as you build relationships, but also like hang out with more Libras, because I think hanging out with Libras could be the way to growth, because they could definitely help you chill. And you can also always just ask yourself a question like, what would Libra do in this situation? This is actually a reverse position of my natal nodes. So I feel like if you also have people in your life who are like 9 years older or younger, they can probably teach you a lot because they're good at things that you're not. And then you can add 18 years to that. So it's like 9 or 27 years. Then you have the same. So yeah, you know, learn to surround yourself with beauty. Practice taking breaks. Practice painting, dancing, making art, exercising in a way that is also stimulating your creativity. Work on relaxing in relationships and perhaps relying on your partner a little bit more and trusting them. And if you feel like you've gone too far in that direction, then balance yourself by tapping again into your South Node in Aries. Be active, go for a run, start a project, be spontaneous, take a risk, do something, do something independently to have a good flow. And make sure you're not sort of dragging your partner into the stresses of your life as well. Instead, perhaps learn from them to chill if there's someone who can help you with that, or keep growing together. So this is it. Thank you for watching. I'm excited to hear your feedback in the comments below to see what you have to say. If there is something you want to add, if you want to share what your childhood was like, how you got to a place of this courage and bravery and this warrior-like mindset of Aries North Node, let me know down below, and I'll talk to you soon.